Welcome to the Heroic Rounds recap of A Wizard's Folly Season 1, Episode 8. Okay, let's do it. So let's talk about last session. Last session, you guys got some kittens. You didn't know you were having kittens, right? Congratulations
I did
on the kittens.
just to not become a pet over
How many
in this campaign.
kittens did you smash, Zach? 10?
Yeah, we saw PETA crime is what it was.
Actually, PETA kills a lot of animals, so
Okay.
Sorry,
All
he
right.
misspoke. He meant pedo crime.
Also, watch Chimp Crazy on HBO if you
I
haven't.
want
It
to.
is so good.
Yeah, Chad, there was.
canceled
We
HBO.
gained pets.
You gained pets. So we started, you guys were on the exterior of the tower.
Yeah, and then I
We're
slipped.
looking into the manticore nest. And you saw all the kittens trying to eat Gentle, but he was hiding in the little rafters. And in the back, you saw the shadow of their mother, who was pissed off and big. And then Brandon tried to turn the cursed lantern against them, which was super
Awesome.
MacGyver. It was cool.
The bone golem that it started to create or whatever that was
Yeah,
freaking
spooky
awesome.
bone
That
golem,
was so
undead
good,
bone
Brandon.
beast, the bone beast. Called him the boner. I don't know.
Boner King.
Brandon
Boner
living
King.
up to his namesake.
It was sweet. And then you had a jolly good fight with
I'm just
Manticore Mommy. You
glad
started
she
to
was
drink
so
Manticore
injured.
milk. You drank Manticore milk. You slaughtered a bunch of kittens. Saved a couple kittens. Socks and Stripes.
Mm-hmm.
Was it just two?
Socks and Stripes forever.
Socks and Stripes. One of them is in a figurine form.
Uh-huh.
And the other one is hanging out.
Socks and then
You
Stripes.
saved
out.
Gentle, resuscitate Gentle a bit, right? Got him back in a little bit of health. Went down below, found some cool stable, like sky stables.
Leather daddy.
And Gentle
Yeah.
wanted to be Leather Daddy.
Yeah, and Gentle.
He was
wanted to
leather
work on
daddy
some
in it
things.
up.
I remember how
That's
you
kinda
guys were
cool.
like, I
I
feel
guess I'm bi-curious.
I remember how you guys were like, oh, I feel really bad. We should save this this very dangerous monster. And then she almost murdered us all.
Yeah,
I'm
she.
sorry, sometimes
great.
I forget
She
how big
flicked
my
her
heart
quill.
She
is.
did go mad. She did that breath weapon. That was crazy. It confused you, and you started to
almost killed
attack
John.
everybody else.
Yeah, you were
Yeah,
giving
I do
John
want to
Red Ass
bring that up.
beatdown.
Like, it seemed like you were kind of leaving it open-ended as to what he should do, but he very much was like, I think I'm going to kill John.
That was a choice. That wasn't confusion.
We actually planned that before.
You guys got together and planned it.
That was what was planned.
I was like, give me that directional dice. Oh, no.
I'm like, oops, he keeps running at you, John.
Again. Seems to be that way every time.
Put my thumb on the scale over here. You know why? 'Cause
House-
you can't see what I roll.
Is it House Crow? No?
Corbeau.
Corbeau. I was thinking Crow because they have crows as their
Yes.
Ravens.
signia. Ravens.
Yes.
This is a riff on Corvid.
So we killed the Manticore. And
It's just a riff.
Just riffing.
Oh, I didn't mean that in a bad way.
Just
Did it come across in a
riff-raffing.
bad way? Oh.
Manticore poison Jack
my gosh.
Brandon.
A little timer going off. It says it's Beaver Moon time. Beaver Moon junkie. Sorry,
Remember
what, are you
what
reading
we
to us?
found in the Manticore was a
Friendship.
second sword
Cool sword.
from
And delicious
Fulmer. We
milk.
have two of them.
Yep.
And
Yeah,
I do
two
have
of
to
Fulmer's
say-
swords.
I do have to say, I felt tricked as relying on our druid, and he was the one that convinced me to sup of the Manticore milk.
I'm sorry. Was it
You
not
took very little
incredible
convincing.
awesome?
I took very little
You
convincing,
were pumped.
but
to
I
drink
went at
milk
it
out of
thinking that you
manticore.
had some secret knowledge.
Yeah, no, I was more curious and I figured you were a dope and you'd go for it.
It worked 100%.
I
Milk
feel like it was a
curious.
little bit of karma for when we made you sing in front of
Yeah.
Yeah, I do.
in the Acorn Kingdom.
But he did choose Gaga, which is always a
Yeah.
good thing to choose to sing.
Honestly, that was my favorite part of the session last time was drinking the manticore milk. Supping, as it were.
It wasn't when Zach murdered all those kittens.
I wouldn't say
That was a
That
little
was
more.
pretty hard. It was like how many rounds in a row? It was like a kill. It was just like, like smashing kids.
It was enough that the DM had to interject and be like, "You've killed enough of my creation."
I'm sorry, like they're horrific beasts that
Yeah,
will kill.
you were just taking the stance of how much we needed to kill them.
euthanasia.
I'm multi-class. I can have two different opinions.
I don't know what the
the truth comes out of why Brandon multi-class.
Multi-class needs multi-alignment too.
Multi-alignment.
Multi-personality.
It's a multi-personality situation.
Oh, that's so good. That's
Lilu
clever.
Dallas multi-class.
Although that would be an incredible incredible.
It'd be hard to play, but it'd be
character to
rad.
play. Yeah.
You could do
If
it.
anybody could do it, you could.
Okay, let's do it.
So there we go.
I don't know. I think we should.
What do we do
take a
now
note
after the
from
recap?
Scout and Hero and do
Well,
a Lady
like,
Hawk.
tell me what things. So here's a question. Did that encounter go like you thought it would go?
No.
What did you think was going to happen versus the?
I thought I was gonna get et real fast and be dead so bad, but I'm so glad she was already hurt and dying.
Okay.
It was very much what John said. It was extremely fearful of like, crap, we're going to have to fight a manticore. And then she was wounded. And I was like, easy. And then she attacked us. And then I was like, I am dead.
Because she's still super.
She's
strong.
still super tough.
Yeah, I actually got out of the manticore fight not too bad because I had some good saves. And I was like, great, I'm going to survive this. And then I got stabbed in the back.
By whom?
By you.
Well, I recall punching you.
by a giant mohawk wearing.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts, Brandon?
I thought it was fun.
Bongo playing elf.
I wish we would have had a tiny bit more like idea of what was going on before we went in, or like had a chance to talk about it.
We didn't because I started to slip and fall off the tower, so I had to scramble up in.
Yeah, which was fun, and it made it fun and feel organic. But like I was hoping to
I was
put that
hoping
thing
to
in.
not blunder my way through it. Yeah.
Yeah. Put the lantern in and then just like lock it in there and just let it do the work.
So us stay hidden. We let the golem just tear them apart.
Work harder, not smarter.
Bone beast.
What? That's what we did. Is we worked harder, not smarter. But it was good.
My highlight is when I was fighting the manticore one-on-one, took a big hit, and then you immediately turned off the lantern, removing my only
bad.
ally and removing my flanking bonus.
I didn't do that. That was him.
Yeah, what? Who did that? I did that. I'm sorry.
Wait, but both of you planned this together?
Oh hell no, I didn't do
We
it.
got
Show me your
together.
text chains from last time we played. We got to
They
kill
can't.
him.
There's too many nudes.
Yeah, we can't show him on the podcast.
What about you, Chad?
Totally surprised me. I didn't think, number one, you would use the lantern. That was very, very clever. I did think that there was this thread, this chance that you guys would see that she was wounded and try to like, get out of there either by charming the manticore
Or thorn in the lion's
trying to
paw.
just snag Gentle and get out without rousing any, fighting, anger kind of thing.
Yeah.
And it didn't go that way, and that's fine. But it was kind of crazy. It was a crazy moment.
I think before we got into last session, in my mind, I had thought of the tower as like more ruinous, like that the floor was missing, and like
okay.
big open, and that the kittens were like tiny, like little size.
Okay.
So I was like, I'm gonna hop in there and start like punting kittens off,
Yeah.
and hopefully the manticore will go after them and we get Gentle and get out.
That was my original
They
thought
were really
too.
easy to kill.
And then it turns out they're like dog size or like small
Yeah.
bear, and it was like, oh boy.
I think
Big old
the
kittens.
imagery we talked about of being the castle in beep, Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
I was just editing myself.
Archimedes.
Yeah, because that was mentioned, and like when the door slams and the tower like almost topples, if you guys remember that. So I'm
Yeah.
envisioning a very
Oh,
like
really?
slender, because you mentioned that specifically. So
Pockety, pockety,
yeah.
walkety, walk.
So I was envisioning something very small like that, which is also lends itself to like very small kittens. Because my original plan was actually to open up the lantern and throw kittens in it,
You mentioned that, and I was like, why do you mention that? Like,
and then
So the takeaway is I didn't do a good job explaining how big the kittens were. When we first got there.
I never had any, in my mind, I always felt I knew exactly what I was getting into. I didn't have kind of this perception that John and Brandon have for
that it
some
was the
reason.
smaller.
Yeah, I thought
I
it
think
was
the word
substantial.
kittens is also going to be a distractor because, like, oh, they're kittens. They're very small.
It was more of a Discord kitten size.
That was funny because you kept on mentioning you wanted to throw them in the lantern, and I was imagining them being like the size of like a small animal, like a brown bear. So I
That's
was
not
like,
a small
why
animal.
Are you? That's why I was confused of like,
Oh, so John and I just weren't meta playing is all.
what do you mean?
Or we just live too much in Disney films.
We're Disney.
They're Disney
We're
adults.
Disney
We're Disney
dads.
adults.
I also really enjoyed getting a little bit of lore chum when we found the
Oh, yeah,
aviary,
that was way
the
cool.
stables. That was
Lore
really cool.
Yeah.
The Griffin Roost or whatever.
I'm excited to learn
Or-
more about the sword. The swords, they feel like there's some
Pegasus.
parity with there. But on the back end, as I'm looking forward to this session,
Hippogriff roost.
I want
Griffins.
to get. I was just clearing my throat. I wasn't trying to get attention.
Were you?
Listen to Zach.
Okay, everybody, it's Zach's turn to speak.
Zach's
Continues.
turn.
Wait, Zach, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Go for it.
We're waiting for you, Zach.
Zach, go.
I really enjoyed that part, and I can't think of what else to do. Oh, I was going to say I want to try to convince Gentle to give up his secret so he can join us.
He'll never speak. Whoa.
Wait,
Attitude.
you give up his secret, like his butthole?
No. His.
Oh, because he took a vow of secrecy or silence because he learned a secret.
He learned
from the
a secret. Tell us the
Yes,
secret
yes.
about
As
yourself.
a paladin, Zach wants to have someone give up their faith and join us.
It's not giving up your faith. It's a part of the faith.
Right? Encarnacion.
Encarnacion.
That's what it is.
Brandon,
I
your
love it.
turn.
I don't
You
have
want
it
him to
tonight.
break your vows
You
together.
don't have it
I
tonight?
don't have it tonight.
Is the beef moon?
The beef moon's just getting you down.
The beaver moon.
I'm ready. I'm ready to kill
Beaver
things.
moon.
I'm ready to take a nap in game.
Oh, that's a good
Yes.
idea. You guys haven't rested in
are.
hours.
Tired little puppies.
No, we need to go take a nap.
So do we rate the sesh? Do we have any other things
let's rate
about
it.
the sesh? Rate the sesh, boys.
I'm ready. My body is ready, and so is my score.
2. We
You
ready?
rated it at 2? I'm just kidding. Are we? Oh, I saw you look.
Are you guys ready?
1,
2, 3.
Chad gave it an 8.
8.
Brandon 8.
That's
9
good.
from Zach. I gave it an 8.
That was a good sesh. That was a good session, guys.
6 repeating.
I loved it.
So that's good with the scores. If you can maybe say this, if somebody was like, not really as familiar with the game,
Yeah.
and they asked, what makes it a good session? What do you think are the things that make it up in that score? Like what puts it up there?
I can tell you exactly what made it a good
Hot
session.
loots.
For me, it was a great capstone to answer the question of why we even started coming out here.
Cool.
So it added this feeling of we're making progress. We've discovered the quills. The quills were found in various
there's
locations.
been like a tease for a long time
Yep.
about what it could be.
So we
right?
now, in my mind, that gives it some high rating because it's
Cool.
a story-based completion based in combat.
Nice.
Which was really thrilling. I always love combat where you are pushed up against choices. Where Brandon kind of mentioned, all of us had a different perspective of how we handle it. Do we sneak in and still gentle? Do we stay on the tower and let the bone beast do it? Do we go and counter it? Do we try to kill the beast? And it feels good that out of all the possibilities that we thought were going to happen, it kind of played out in a different way, right?
Yeah.
So it was exciting to have it be around that. So that idea of like the reason why I like playing D&D, it was dynamic.
Cool.
It was all 4 of us coming together, creating something that I didn't expect.
Yeah. I didn't
Almost
expect.
dying.
Yeah.
And then I think it was just people, there's a pace that happens. The only thing I'd give it a -2, the reason I rate it like perfect 10, there's a pace that you always kind of have to go in where people have ideas. You don't want to step on toes. Brandon had an idea, so I wanted to hold back and make sure he was able to, like, LS was able to do what he wanted to do with the lantern. And it is fun. And I wouldn't say frustrating to like then try to balance those things of like what you want to do with the good of the group and with the flow of the DM and the situation. And then the reason I made it from an 8 to a 9 was closing combat, feeling a sense of being resolved, and then immediate being given more history and chum.
Cool.
And understanding of like, oh, there's more to this kingdom than we ever knew because they were flying. They had flying cavalry. That's awesome. So
Cool.
Basically flying cars.
so that's kind of it
That's
for
cool.
it. Like
Yeah,
a sense of
that.
mystery, a sense of completion, a little bit of frustration in terms of like, what do we do? How do we act? Because we're all trying to act independent of each other. Like, Brandon, you should do this. LS, you should do this. Mac, you should do this. Like, that feels good, but it's always inherently a little bit of like choppiness, I guess.
Oh, that makes sense.
So,
That's cool, Zach. Thanks. What do you think, John? What makes it a good session?
Oh, I don't know. Not dying. That's just good.
You've not died in all the sessions so far, so that's not a very good indicator.
They're all good. They're all good. No, I think if I go home and like excitedly tell my wife at 1 a.m. like what happened, then I'm like, oh, that was good. I mean, and that happened with this session.
That's cool.
I'm sure she was like, what the hell?
Just
Just
turn off the
please go to bed.
Yeah, please go to bed.
Why are you standing over me in
I
your
did- I
underwear?
What
did
is a
tell-
boner champ?
You were like, and then we drank the milk. It was freaking.
I told my wife about the milk, and she was like, "Oh, that's weird." And like, she's like, "How did you get it to stand still and let you drink its milk?" I'm like, "Oh, it was dead." And
like I already killed it.
she was
The
then
milk
none
was
of it. She was
started
like-
to get cold.
sorry.
It's almost iced cream at that point.
What do you think, Brandon? What makes it a good sesh?
A good session for me is finding non-traditional solutions to, like, not that it was straightforward, but like I like always thinking outside. Like that's my favorite is when we can break like
Down
the
waterlogged
expectations.
door.
Yeah.
Nice.
We can break the expectations that are kind of like set in front of it. And so for me, that's a lot of fun to like really step out of like the difference between a video game like
Yeah.
and a tabletop RPG where it really does allow you to have like that freedom to kind of do whatever. That's I really like that. Where I brought it down just a little bit is the similar point, like I think because of exactly where we ended, like it's awesome. It's a good cliffhanger. And I think we all kind of got into it pretty good, like quite quickly. And we moved along, but still there's a tiny bit of clunkiness on how that looks, right? Or like, okay, we have to reset the scene and maybe it's a slightly different. And like, we had like, it was exciting where we left off. So we kind of had some ideas of like what we were going to try and do into the first round. Right. And then, so there was just a tiny bit of clunkiness, like leading into it. But like, I think Zach hit it perfectly when he said like the chum at the end with like a lot of lore and the payoff. Like there were some really cool pieces and like powerful, like fun imagery where we almost all died also. Like it was fun to be like, oh shit, like we're level 3 characters, level 4 characters now. So I thought that was really fun too.
That's cool.
So.
That's cool. Yeah. So one of the things that I think for me that comes up with any good session is when the stakes feel high enough and the consequences feel real enough. Like that there's going to be an outcome that matters. And I think that's what, for me, makes the good sessions good. And that's why I think you can't usually start very good with a really great session. You can have some initial first sessions that are great, but it's usually earned. So like some of our best first sessions we've ever had are like the beginning of a second chapter because there's so much that has been earned to that point.
The Panathenic Amphora.
Yeah. So that feels like the stakes are huge. There's epicness and you guys have a real handle on moving the story. Like you're having a big influence on it. So coming back to this session, the reason I rated it high, and I think we all rated it high, is I would actually put our thumb on the pulse of like the stakes were high and your leverage felt large. Like we have huge leverage on what's happening in the story right now. Yeah. What we do matters and it's a huge moment. And so it feels good. That's what I think.
That was cool.
Let's play more D&D.
Recap's over.
Pathfinder